So this was something I actually read at the first Vision Festival that Patricia had me as a part of, and I wrote it literally, I think it was like the night before. It's Amiri Baraka had died, and I was actually in North Carolina. Obviously, folks who know about him, he was part of the Black Mountain Poets before, becoming more political, and I actually was in the town over from where the Black Mountain Poets had their college, and the place I was at, I was doing a master's program. The pipes froze, so we went and stayed in Black Mountain, and while I was there, he died. So it was just kind of eerie. So then I felt like, hey, I'm doing this fest, it's a few months after his death, let me write this, because obviously he has that seminal work, Blues People. So this is sort of riffing, but then riffing on America's classical music. Blues People. Abandoned the East Village, Afro-Bohemian, Dada, Siki, easy does it, eating ham hocks, lazing in a ham hock, blues people. Donnell, Leroy Jones, Amiri Baraka, Matabuti, changing sane, blues people. His mind left the Melody construction site where nipple Negroes always took pulpit furloughs from the blues people. He come out in hard covers to suss out the cover-ups, have heads levitating on his statements, cause he rise to the occasion like sourdough in an oven, say, what up, blood? Like our pink tongues was not so distant African cousins. He would drop science, then break it down like his mouth was the big top and the verbal circus had to leave town. Set up shop in Newark, they triumph, where brothers and sisters were shattered by shadows and grilled sham sandwiches. So he gathered his own W.E.B. Du Bois in the hood, some forthright fifth columns, and his poem became sheets of sound for the silent blues people. Knowing he gonna pay an outcome tax for his uptrodden pork-free assaults in the gizzard labyrinth, honky-tonk, mellow dolly, dicky land, blues people. 67, when them billy clubs played a drum solo on his skull, he understood what the pigs meant about his pigment. They thought they was playing Stomp Him at the Savoy, but it was the blues people. Still he cleaned the jerk and keep on power limping. Just from the weight of his words, he snapped a hyphen in two like a punctured barbell, his verbs shattering the ankles of exclamation points, adjectives training a 357 Magnum on a period point-blank range for the blues people. Cultural point guard, cross-court jester with the run-and-gun tongue, known for the cerebral shake-and-bake, dribbling truth up court, shooting insult from beyond the arc, or picking up an assist with a lyrical layup. Never an intellectual stutter step. Whenever he shot the shit, it was nothing but net for the blues people. Downright upright bass tattooed by fables of fathers with Mingus among us blues people. A tisket, a casket, we gonna elevate Fitzgerald, Art, Pepper Adams, and Zoot Suit Sims. An educated saxophonist is our best customer. Big band swing gussied up our gut bucket, stuffed it in a tux and lynched it. Meanwhile, Bird was admitting cooking with gas. Watch that middle C, menstrual C. But what a little moonshine can do when you got the Cootie Williams blues, people. What happens when you wake up and discover your country is a genetically modified orgasm? Incontinent, bifocal hooligans, hired by the powers that bebop so inlandish they ransack your nightmares, denying your way out alienable rights of life, lit per tea, and the pursuit of sunny stiffness. Still we be idiots for the idiom, Satchmo and Daniel, Sonny and Pharaoh, Hocus Potion, blues people. At the top of the chocolate chops, rhythm of booze people. Brubeck, take 5, call a cab Callaway, cause the Carter family, Benny, Betty, and Ron, ain't chasing the train, choo-choo, chaboogie. Creole love call, dark, lockjaw, Darktown strutters, blues people. Your conch ain't nothing but a cotton club, bobbing to the East St. Louis Toodaloo blues people. Hawkins and Heath, Hinton and Hodges, Yardbird, a bebop hypodermic needle in and from the heartland blues people. Apostles of the 1 o'clock jump, oop-bop, shaban blues people. Charlie Parker with no strings attached blues people. How many D's before you do blues people? Jelly Roll jam sessions, it don't mean a thing if it ain't got that sting, cause the birth of the cool was actually Andante's Inferno. Mysterioso, fuga ditty, piano combat, small paradise, music so loud made the Harlem River quiver. None of that great coupon, napkin, dad, ooh, the toilet, humbug jazz. We need some moody indigo, outdentured servant blues people. with a way inferiority complex to reminisce in tempo about the shape of bebop to come. Cause if Charlie Parker were a gunslinger, there'd be a whole lot of dead copycats. When they call you a psychotic wash rag, existential chitlin, but you be Art Blakey, it's the blues, people. When they downsize your boom shakalaka and indict your percussion for cussing, it's the blues, people. Artie and Archie, the Shawshank Redemption, no matter Marvin the Smitty or Willie the Lion, someday my Smith will come. We got some Philly Joe, Harry Sweets, Poppy Shampoo, Swellington, Way Out Cantation, blues, people. Billy, if the horn done stray, take the A train with the blues, people. The Windy City 7, no Ethel's water's about to break. Watch out, blues, people. These are a few of my favorite things. Ragtime and Rainy and Swing Street and Channel, Cecil and Threadgill and Tiger Rag solos, cool bops and Creoles and downbeats of Dizzies. Walking that contest with Basin Street blues, people. We're gonna infiltrate the Freedom Now suite with the Swing Low Suite, Scatterlack, Ornette, Coleman, Free Jazz, Smorgasbord blues, people. 16th, 18th, and quarter notes don't get around much anymore, blues, people. Deacon of the downtrodden, megaphone of the misbegotten, field holler if you hear me, blues, people. With a head bop call from a smoke-choked audience, he called out U.S. history, its syphilitic lip sync, the way it strangled the microphone like a funky, unwitting, electrified chicken. He screamed, the truth was pre-recorded. You dubbed over the slaughter of the blues, people. Salt peanuts and honeysuckle child, God bless Lady Days, grits and gravy blues, people. Lake and Latif along with Captain Rassan Roland Kirk, live at the Starship Enterprise blues, people. Out-coherent, nappy, luau, gandy dancer blues, people. Strange fruit, heebie-jeebie, five-spot man tanker, hurtling at the frequency of joy blues, people. The djembe was the world's first text message. You can't tell cats to take it slow because they'll just slow it a little faster. See, these are some out-doctrinated, out-cantation blues people, who gonna chug the swill, the sour milk and hops of U.S. history, who is the is of what he was, who deigned to pen the first chapter of his preface to a 20-volume suicide note, cause truth don't lie, anchormen do. When Dred Scott, when Plessy, when Go Down, when Moses, when Cotton, when Whiplash, when Langston, when Coltrane, when Leroy, when Name Change, when Racelift, when Fatback, when Chitlins, when Tell It, when Mountain, when Hardbop, when Sharecrop, when Funky, when Chicken, when Goodfoot, when Badass, when Upfront, when Sweetback, when Fire, when Next Time, when Newark, when Black Codes, when Yahweh. When did you decide my sixth finger need be a pen filled with ink? Not the ink that recently became people's. Yahweh bellowed when I knew I was dispatching you to a world full of triple amputees and needed someone to lend them a helping hand. There'd be no Barack O without a Barack. There'd be no Barack O without a Barack Amun. So brevity is called mental discount. My mind is like a President's Day sale. Everything is at least 20% off. About life in Black America. How many of you heard of Great Adventures?
Sure.
The amusement park? Okay, so just kind of have that in mind as this goes by. Great Adventures. Time. Wildlife preservation, cotton candy concentration camp. From the get-go, Annie up the ducats to be a voyeur in this hardcore black market slice of life. Darling and I, hip Egyptians, peep out this hieroglyphic map, meditate on the eightfold path. Buddha's on a scooter talking zazen, boo-boo, guy playing yin-yang. Show me your original face. Say what? This place is bug. Let's check out the water rides, honey. Slip and slide, slave ship enterprise, liquid tide that chaperoned us here. Online, we read the signs. Do not stand up in boat. on! I'm ad hoc middle passes livestock, boarding the roaring rapids without a life jacket, paddling an African kayak through the foamy Pabst Blue Ribbon, my country 'tis of thee, whitewater rapids, capsized, revived, baptized, all step fall, who art naked counted. By the blind man's bluff group think that Jesus is prettier in pink. Next to Hardy Boys Middle School colorblind kiddie rides, let's try the freedom rides, honey. Read the signs. Only overseer master allowed to watch doggies Kool-Aid smiling, picking cotton in the amusement park. A-I-O-U, and sometimes why am I still riding on the segregated hump of the Great Adventures bus? A slave chain pulls me up. Instructions. For your safety, one must be at least an octoroon to go on this ride. The following people should not go. Those with heart conditions from corn pone, fat back, hypertension. Those with lower back problems from overtime shoe shine. Moms mainly, Muslims, or unwed mothers. Remain seated, keep hands, arms, and legs inside car, and secure personal belongings. In this corkscrew, Corpus Christi loop-de-loop, backseat Negro Knievel knows during the dips, the livid screams and goalpost arms from the front row white folks, hearts double parked in their throats, is because they think a GED brother might mug them. Hi-ho, I'm on death row, the homeboy in the cell. Taking pixie stick sips from the black and white pre-desegregation water fountains. Tastes the same to me. Dashing the roller coaster revolution with just one loop. Can't give the colored folk time to regroup after the candlelight civil rights vigil. Popping cruise control antidotes to hate. Assimilate! On the high-ho silver corporate carousel, up and down, round and round. BS degree think I'm getting somewhere, but touchdown at the polo grounds. Need some comic relief? Walk to the funhouse. Check me out. Revolutionary. Oreo, stud, African American, Negro, New Jack, Bucky, Sleeve, bourgeoisie. I see leaves bouncing black in the mirror a zillion times, yet nothing's cleared up in my tattooed totem pole mind. Get on the spin out, centrifugal police force boss, freeze up against the wall. My arms spread like a Negro three-piece suit Jesus, like I got the power to say, forgive them, stepfather, for they know not what they do. Little game of Russian roulette, that bumper car Corvette ain't yours, is it, boy? Quote-unquote Wall Street power broker, blinded by the smoke screen, America had loosened the Gucci noose around my neck since I reside in Siberia, suburbia, and write good checks. Roger Wilco, Moon State Trooper, slaps on the shackles, black to the future. The bottom drops out of me. That short-circuit sequin straitjacket looks marvelous on you. Board the moonwalk, bounce around the rubber room. Prescribed lithium Looney Tunes, soothing the savage beast. Released on my own recognizance, I take the G4 skydive. Realize no matter how high I rise, this indivisible gravity always brings me down. We're directed to the rebel yell. Confederate roller coaster, lower class flight, booty backwards into hell. The operator's jack-o'-lantern grin says, enjoy the ride. All I can think is I spent most of my lifetime planting peak frames, waiting at the end of the line. This is for Tamir Rice. I presume and hope most of you are familiar, 12-year-old kid killed in Cleveland, Ohio with a plastic gun within 1.4 seconds of the police officer getting out of the car, and the person who called said, I believe it's a fake gun. And he got off the police officer. This is called A Voice in the Wilderness. What do you want to be when you grow up? Live? So we lost Ornette Coleman around the time of the Vision Festival. festival last year. It seems to be this leitmotif with me, like writing these poems that are soon around the festival and something sort of happens soon before. So this is called Ornate Culmination. The epigraph is from Louis Armstrong. What you hear from a man's horn is what he is, and man can be many different things. Louis Armstrong. Nappy alchemist, gut bucket Gnostic, the shape of jazz to come. Concentrated escapade, quarter note, let me start over. Nappy alchemist, gut bucket Gnostic, the shape of jazz to come. Concentrated escapade, quarter tone store clerk, chocolate charlatan, the shape of jazz to come. Mama Great Depression, Lone Star State, dollar scrape enough for coins gathering slow as 1,500 unreconstructed atheists forced to attend a revival meeting in exchange for government cheese. She was able to give you your second wind at 14, your thanks, deep tone Texas tenor, 15 of the quarter notes, big toes kicking you in the rump, and out the high school band for swinging Sousa's Washington Post march. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. Your thanks, Bayou Jam Driver nightclub gig, applause inside turned into an invitation outside, and fists upside your head for blaspheming Saturday night's religion, which any hipster knew was rhythm. You found your sax flat as an omelet beside the club's dumpster, smashed to bits and pieces like drunk sunlight, not paying attention to where it was going or how fast. Even genius has to observe the cerebral speed limit. Your thanks, after some more Mama Slow coin soup, this time for your bus ticket to LA, Dexter Gordon must have thought his tenor was akin to a cane hooked around your neck, dragging you off stage rather than letting you sit in. Like white caps, smoke from his cigarette shooing you into darkness. Panhandle Jesus, your beard is off key, you look out of tune, you work odd jobs to keep your odd job. It's the shape of jazz to come. Esoteric elevator operator, neo-primitive diatonic body piercer, it's the shape. When you put your tongue to your reed, are you raising hackles or spirits with the shape of jazz to come? 14-day engagement turned into 4 months, 6 nights a week, you getting on stage and boiling a fresh pot of breast spaghetti, the bell of your horn, the belly button, all these cats pressing their ears against, trying to heed your fetuses. Eldridge leaned in once sober, didn't get it either way. Mingus swore you was playing right, wrong. But Checkpoint Charlie needed to expand the vocabulary because the shape of jazz had come. Black Saint and the Civil Lady, Rip Rig and Panic, your tie, a lowercase I, the knots, the dot, your shirt, sheet music, the taste of jazz had come. Even with the patron bursting in the kitchen to sock you, even with the Cadillac set ablaze out front after all the cutting-edge contests you won, the shape of jazz had come. Hell, you were just Yardbird spreading his feathers a little farther, just the tales of Captain Black, melodic bebop sex spy, just Dizzy playing Hot House and you smearing Cherokee simultaneously, just jazz cliche taking a much-needed vacation. Your instruments both snake and charmer, ampersand and treble clef, king cobra and harmonic swami. Your sax, a brass bookend of Spanish question marks, the vagabond beat in the big room, the buoyant miasma, the four-course meal, and you must eat them avant-garde veggies, the shape of jazz had come. You believed there were just two kinds of audiences, the ones who were standing, the ones who were standing up and the ones already laying in the ground. The who keeps the record. Now there's a circle with a hole in the middle, a 12-bar blues, a holiday for a graveyard, cymbals lightly tapped like hooves on cobblestone. Your body was a fort, worthy of its soul, an alto, a wind instrument, brass and spirit now curled in the fetal position of what some took for a casket, but was a case, plush velvet lining, pop-open latches to be lowered into a packed house, but with enough handles so the next cat who truly gets it will be able to carry it on. Wow. So this is called Unarmed. This is a list poem in that sort of Black Lives Matter vein, but you could say it's a tribute or elegy for Sandra Bland. Unarmed. Unpinkied, unthumbed, unpalmed, unringed, unmiddled, unindex, unknuckled, unwristed, unelbowed, untricep, unbicep, unrolled blunt, uneeny, unmoney-mo, unscratched head, on made bed, on tied sneakers, on CeeLo, on slam dunk, on layup, on fist bump, on peace sign, on dap, on jump rope, on patty cake, on baker's man, on clenched fist, on peekaboo, on ICU, on helping hand, on holding hands, on hands up, on written rhymes, on throwing signs, on slap five, on high five, on braided hair, on fingernail, on twisted cap, on open bottle, on lipstick, on wash dish, on shifted gear, on cut crotch, on locked door, on throw your hands, on in the air, on waiting light, on just don't care, on hold it close, on in your undertaking, undo, uneasy, unemployed, unending, unfair, unfathomable, unforgettable, unforgiving, unfortunate, ungodly, unimaginable, unheard of, uncalled for, unceasing, Uncle Sam or Uncle Tom, unconstitutional, uncouth, undemocratic, underclass, undercover, undercurrent, underbelly, underdeveloped, underemployed, underestimated, underground, underhanded, undermined, undernourished, underprivileged, unacceptable, unafraid, unaccountable, unappreciated, unbeknownst, unauthorized, un-American, unchecked, uncuffed, undeserved, undeterred, unforgivable, unfulfilled, unjustifiable, no soldiers, unlawful, unleashed, unless, unlikely, unmerciful, unnecessary, unorthodox, quote, unquote, unnoticed, go, unsportsmanlike, conduct, unstoppable, unwavering, unwelcome, unbelievable, unthinkable, unreal, unjust, until we meet again. Still cool. All right, this is, well, let me do this. This is called Deep Thought, another pithy one. Deep Thought. If you lose your marbles, the only thing you'll have left to play with are your balls. So this is called Swisher Sweets and Lucy's. This is for Eric Garner and Michael Brown. It was interesting, both of them were killed with something that had to do with tobacco. Swisher Sweets and Lucy's. Whether it's hotter than July or the dog days of August, whether it's Eastern Standard or Central Time, whether it's 3:45 or 12:01, whether it's 12 shots or 11 pleas, whether it's hands up or face down, whether it's can't breathe or don't shoot, whether it's Bay Street or Canfield Drive, whether they were on foot or behind the wheel, whether it's the beauty supply or inconvenience store, whether it's the Midwest or the Northeast, whether you weren't selling Lucy's or lifting Swishers, whether both were rocking Bermuda shorts and white tees, whether the front office mentioned khaki was the color of the day, whether asthma or apnea, whether you lecture or whether you hector, whether 6'3" or 6'4", whether the killer is the same height or 6 inches shorter, whether you weigh $3.50 or 8 pounds short of 3 bones, whether you're going to college or going nowhere, whether you're a proud father or a gentle giant, whether it's Tompkinsville or Ferguson, whether the culprits are cops who are paid to do right but get away with doing wrong, whether what stands before them is X, Y, and black, you know what X does, it marks the spot. Whether the beef was because you were carded or had broken up a beef, whether you were standing tall or jaywalking, whether you take it personal or make it personal, whether the feds held 160,000 grand juries in 365 days and only 11 did better than a ham sandwich, which could be indicted, but not the pig it came from. Whether you're a crooked cop, the answer's always innocent, even when you're not. Whether you gave up the ghost in an hour or an instant, whether your people lost the chocolate lottery or were brought here to play tug of war with tobacco, or whether your people were really underlings but thought they were overseers. Whether 150 years later they call you cops and you still think we're picking crops. Whether a box of cigarettes leads to being sent home in a box. Whether it's Lucky Strikes or cigarillos, whether you're teen or middle-aged, 18 or 43, choked or smoked. If you're a black man, America is a pack of cigarettes. It's time to crack it open. Strike a match, light it up, put it to your lips, and smoke the bitch. Issue of levity here again. This is a piece called Boxes versus Briefs. I was doing my laundry one day and You know, it shows how boring your life is. I notice I wear boxers and I wear briefs, but it's a satire about ethnicity. I don't use the term race because that's a false construct. The subtitle is the underwear argument. That's why I said the under. All right.
Didn't they tell you this washing machine is not for colors?
You white supremacist.
That was below the belt.
Only place I reside.
Boxer, huh? What was the last fight you won?
Put up your dookie, sperm murderer.
German butt mutt?
Uptighty whitey.
You better watch your ass.
You better cover yours.
Let me be brief.
What else is new?
Cut the crap. You're just pissed because I come with easy access, peekaboo urinal convenience. Are you out of your cotton picking behind?
Funny, you should say that.
By the way, your crew, Captain Winky and his 2 first mates, said to tell you you're driving your nuts. Be more loosey-goosey. Try my new age tookist breathing room technique. Butt out, Budinsky. Captain Winky thinks you're far too clingy. He wants an open relationship. You think you're so fly.
I'm trying to help you, ass hammock.
Pecker pugilist,
Maximum security penis prison.
lead director at the International Wedgie Festival,
Kermit the Frog's albino butt uncle.
wait till I get my hands on you.
So, very brief humorous. This is for Sean Bell. It's an elegy. He was killed in 2006, the night of his bachelor party, morning of his wedding. Forever's Bread. The epigraph is by a priest named Father Lucas. You see some fools with guns drawn. What are you supposed to do? Say, I wonder what's on their minds. Father Lucas. Topless brothel, hotbed of narcotics and prostitution, Club Kahlua, where happy hour is sometimes the sadness of 3,600 seconds. This set where some do upside-down policing, walking on their heads while thinking on their feet. Oh, where is thy sting? Does anyone know the nor where my yoke is light and my easy is burden? He who words my hear the now hour is and coming. As if he found another face, a man rocks a Chicago White Sox hat backward. He could use this cap while his first face sweet talks a stripper or orders something heartless and dark. And no, have you not that happen? 8 men empty the evening as if this were a game of pool, an invisible hand shoots the break. Rolling along the sidewalk, smooth gray playing surface, the men split into 2 groups. God, an illusory pool shark, calls the shots. Black men, street corner pocket. Quarrel, some, burden, some, worry, some. As cold creeps into the wee hours, Sean and his boys dribble into his afternoon. Headlights butter the pavement. The way vomit makes a head snap forward as Hoopty lurches into an unmarked Ford Freestar. As officers' overcoat undercovers, infinity resides between quiet and the flash of gunfire. Eventually, Sean's noggin falls forward as if someone has stapled 2 skyscrapers to his chin. Assassinate, shun, litigate, shun, execute, shun, devastate, Sean. Was it his ghost or a shoelace of smoke that inched from the Altima's radiator? Did a memory fidget in the back of his brain? When you die, do you step into a vestibule between this world and the next? When you die, does infinity feel the dent? Central booking waiting, fingerprints waiting, this time 5 cops. And another open was booked by the written, which were, if there's no indictment, that boy dies twice. If we Lord, we live to the if, and if we die to the 2, and blessed are the die who dead in the now. One officer reminds prosecutors that he logged over 600 arrests. He'll put the grand jury in his shoes, but remember, he was thinking with his feet. To keep Judas who can against, instead of groomsmen, there's grave diggers. Instead of bridal white, there's widow's black. Instead of a best man, there's burial. Instead of a toast, there's tragedy. Instead of champagne and chit-chat, there's beer, there's brandy. I was drinking, you gave me no thirsty. I was fooding, you gave me no hungry. I was clothed, and you nakeded me. Pity, us, fury, us, cancer, us, villain, us, murder, us, scandal, us, ruin, us, danger, us, envy, us, continue, us. When the now hour comes, remember me as you lord into your kingdom on the first week of the day. Women in certain other days then and went and bowed their faces to the afraid. They seemed to say, seek to you wiser thou. Not here, he. How do you scratch the surface of a city that never itches? When a man loses his life, who finds it? I am the resurrection of each of this anyone he will forever's bread, for mine indeed is food flesh. Let not your you be troubled, because I go to place and prepare for you. I shall take thee, Nicole, to be my wife. On the night I was betrayed, to have and to hold. Do not pass me by, in sickness and in health. Into your hands we commend our brother, for rich or for poor. The body and the blood, for better or for worse. The Lord be with you and also with you, to love and to cherish. Take, all of you, drink, this is the cup of my blood, till death does its part. He makes me to lie down in green pastures, if there is anyone who disagrees with this. Though I walk through the alley of the shadow of my breath, speak now or forever, holster your peace. Through him, with him, in him, at this scene I be dead. You live and reign forever and ever. I now pronounce you murdered and wronged. Dashes to dashes, us to us, I am Ophel and Omega and the fool proof, fire proof, bullet proof, trigger, happy, niggas, sad. Thank you. Continue to support the arts. I have copies of my second book, which was a final for a prize. But thank you, Patricia, for having me in. Thank you,